following the announcement of October 15, 2022 as the date for local government election by the Osun Independent Electoral Commission. The state chapter of the People's Democratic Party has described the exercise as efforts in futility. Caretaker chairman of the Osun PDP, Dr. Adekunle Akindele, at a press briefing at the party secretariat on Tuesday in Osogbo, said the party will not be a part of what he described as illegality. He said the PDP has hinted the public on the plans by the OSEC to conduct a local government election earlier this month.
That our great party, the PDP, had raised the alarm on the clandestine plot by the outgoing governor of Osun State, Mr. Gboyega, to conduct an end-time election in the 30 local governments in the state. We also recall the immediate denial of such plot through the Osun State Independent Electoral Commission, OSEC. We knew that the immediate denial by the OSEC chairman, Otumba Oladiton, was not sincere, as he had the governor's stern order to cause the election to hold by all means, not minding his impropriety in the face of the law. The reason behind such blind rush for an election this same APC government had refused to hold since advent of Itola administration is not far-fetched. The defeated government had soiled its hands in so much financial infractions and monumental corruption, especially towards the last election, and therefore is desperately looking for all corrupt means to cover up his ass. Our great party, the PDP, however, wants to remind Mr. Itola that we have his numbers in this. The more he runs for cover, the more exposed he becomes.
According to the PDP, the planned election is illegal as it contravenes the dictate of the 2022 Electoral Act passed by the National Assembly and assented to by President Muhammadu Buhari.
The planned election we want to maintain is a futile effort that will certainly not stand, and we've mentioned severally, it's an attempt to plunge the state further into financial abjection and misery. All men of good conscience should demand explanation from Mr. Gboyega reasons behind his insistence on conducting an election he knows is clearly against the Electoral Act. Or is Osun State no longer a constituent part of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, where the act regulating the conduct of elections is clearly spelled out? Let me use this medium again to remind the defeated governor about pendency of litigations before the High Court of Osun State and the Federal High Court Osogbo, in which the legitimacy of the commission as presently constituted, the constitutionality and legality of the local government election, amongst others, are being challenged. We are not unaware of a recently rushed bill by the State House of Assembly to render a live support to the brought-in dead idea of railroading the state into a clearly illegal exercise. But the law is settled that no state electoral law can override the provisions of the Electoral Act made by the National Assembly of Nigeria. Section 28 of the Electoral Act 2022 stipulates that no election can hold until a notice of 360 days is given to all relevant stakeholders before such election. The Electoral Act also provides, without any room for Mr. Itola's kind of dilly-dallying, in Section 29, a period of 180 days within which lists of candidates must be published. There is no ambiguity in the fact that the period within which the outgoing APC administration in Osun State is left with is clearly far less than the period stipulated in paragraph 28 and 29 of the Electoral Act 2022. This shows that the proposed election was never on the table of the APC government in the state until they got sacked at the poll by the same people the governor and his juvenile team of power drunks are taken for granted for so long.
He reiterated the call on Inspector General of Police and the Osun State Commissioner of Police to be alerted to the likelihood of breach of law and orders in Osun State.
The eagerness to waste state resources on this fruitless venture again makes it more criminal for members of OSEC. It is our belief and hope that OSEC members and other recalcitrant stakeholders take note of these warnings as being chronicled and properly noted for record purposes. We again reiterate our call on the IG, Akali Baba Usman, and the State Commissioner of Police to take proactive steps to nip in the bud the likelihood of breach of peace in the state, as masses of the state are eager and more than ready to resist any action by the rejected government to further impoverish them by political gangsters without modicum of morality and conscience.
From Oshogbo Modikola Shomi, Inside Links TV.